Where are we? What town are we in?
Hasselt.
Hasselt, yeah.
Hasselt.
Hasselt, yeah. Hasselt.
Hasselt. I was trying to do an accent.
An accent?
Hasselt.
What accent are you trying to do?
You're listening to the Everyone But Us podcast, straight from the heart of London.
Yo, what's up, everyone? And we are back with our first episode of 2019. How's everyone doing? We good?
Fantastic.
We're currently out. Sorry,
I'm good, mate. 3 days in, man. I'm feeling it. No, I'm joking. It's been amazing so far. But yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, we're currently out on the Rebellion 8 tour, and we are in
Hasselt.
Hasselt
in Belgium.
In Belgium.
Do your accent.
Hasselt.
I'm impressed.
That was a Chinese person from Hasselt.
You're putting fucking...
Might have been Vietnamese, you know.
Remember when Steve McLaren took over? Who did he take over? He took over 20.
20.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he put in that fucking Dutch accent.
That was terrible.
It's awful.
Yeah, you were. That went a little bit pear-shaped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that voice...
McLaren.
Sorry, that voice you hear... we have a very, that's a lot of veries.
A lot of varies.
A lot of veries. Special guest in the building, or should I say nightliner.
In the lounge.
In the lounge.
In the
a guy I've known.
upstairs lounge.
In the oh yeah, we should... 2 lounges, by the way. Yeah. 2 lounges. This guy I've known for, what, 20 plus years.
Yeah.
Consider him a very good friend. Very good guy. Very good guy.
Cheers.
Should we introduce his name?
Go on, you go, Wilma.
You do it. You introduce yourself.
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
No, I'm Bobby Payne, right?
Bobby Payne. Bob from Payne, Born from Payne. Woo!
Let's get it out for him, man.
Yeah, thank you guys. Cheers for having me.
No, Bob, man, thank you for coming on. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers, always.
So, how are you, man? How you doing?
I'm doing just fine, you know. It's the first day of tour. It's actually more relaxing to be out, you know, to be getting up in the morning and not running around like crazy. Not running around like crazy, you know. Okay. Just running around a little bit, but, you know, everything's cool. I'm good.
Yeah, so explain where we are. We're on the Rebellion 8 tour, and as well as obviously performing with Born from Payne, you are tour managing.
I'm tour managing, yeah. Tour managing and singing and on double duty basically. But
see,
you know,
this guy likes the money.
For someone that's doing all that stuff, man, you look very non-stressed. I think I'd be pulling my non-existent hair out already.
That's because I just ignore most requests of the opening bands, you know.
We've actually got a couple of requests after. Keep that off here.
You know, like if it's requests of that nature, in your case, Lewis, is not a problem. You know?
Oh,
okay. We'll leave the room.
Oh, shit.
That's the better parts of tour, you know.
Is that what that tub of Vaseline's for over there?
Possibly.
Must be.
So I was going to say, like, how did you get into the tour managing thing? Like, how did that start?
That actually started because, well, some of you or all of you might be familiar with my good friend Harold.
Yeah, of course, man.
Yeah.
Big up Harold.
Yeah, and he used to do merch and later on proceeded to tour manage Madball for a couple tours. But parallel to that, he was doing bands like Down and Airborne, like bigger metal bands, and he was already going on tour with Madball originally in Europe for the summer. But Down asked him to come to the States and do a tour with them for like a month or longer. And he was like, oh my God, you know, like I can't be an asshole and cancel this Madball tour, you know. And he was really, but he's like, oh, this is such a big chance, you know, this and that. And I said, well, if I mean, we had toured with Madball before, with Born from Payne, so I said, why don't you just propose I do it, you know? Like I can take over and you can go on tour. I think Freddie was a little bit reluctant at the beginning because he was like, well, you know, like he didn't know me as someone who tour manages. And
He's Dutch.
Yeah. Not the most beautiful guy, so they were like, you know, I have to hang around this guy. But then he said, all right, yeah, let's try it. And it's been love at first sight ever since.
Yeah, I know.
At least from my side. No, but it's been going, like, I've been with these guys for 9 years now.
You've been tour managing Madball for 9 years?
Yeah. Since 2009.
Wow, man, shit.
Yeah.
Is this like a full-time thing for you, like a job as well? Do you have a job outside of this?
Nah. I mean, No, it isn't. I just tour managed Madball because it organically grew into like that thing it is now. But I was never in the back of my mind had the thought of making a career out of that or something, So, I mean, between this and Born from Pain, I'm out more than enough a year.
Yeah.
And I don't have that urge anymore to be out on the road for 250 or 300 days a year. I mean, I can't even afford it. So, I freelance IT training and stuff like that. So I do that, and between all of that, I would say,
So you're a man of many talents.
It's interpretable, but yeah, you could say so. Yeah.
Fingers in many holes.
Oh shit!
I was saying with these lot, like for us being on the Nightliner is like an amazing experience. You don't get to do it much.
Yeah.
But we can see, like, from the third day in, you can see how people turn into alcoholics and drugs because you got so much.
Too much time.
Too much time. I mean, there's a beer there, and you're just like, let me just have a drink.
Yeah.
And I'm at McDonald's for the past 4 days.
Yeah.
I'm on a McDonald's ban now.
Are you doing the scale challenge where you weigh yourself before you go on tour and after?
Oh, is that what people do? No.
I think we just have to look in the mirror.
Oh shit! This is not what everybody does. Okay, cut that out. No, I'm just kidding.
I got my fucking head firmly in the sand. When it comes to my weight, man, I don't want to fucking know anymore.
I started confronting myself after we did this Christmas tour. Last Christmas with Born for Pain, I was looking in the mirror. I was like, Jesus fucking Christ, what happened? And I've been the last 2 months have been very good. I've been very much going back to where I wanted to be, so it's cool.
I mean, do you try and when you was first tour managing?
Yeah.
Did you find yourself just getting into really bad habits?
Well, I found myself getting into it. Was parallel to the time that I started drinking again after being straight edge for a long time. So I got into bad habits as it was tour managing. I know. So it was.
We all know that Bob likes fun, having fun.
Say what?
I said we all know that you like having fun.
Yeah,
so
well,
with a bear, that's times 100.
Well, there you go.
So anyway, let's talk about Born from Pain, man. Like
Sure.
I've written some notes down because I'm a bit brain dead at the moment, and Born from Pain was one of the first bands I think from Europe that Knuckle Dust had that bond with.
Yeah.
And I think I'm trying to think the first time I met you, and what comes to mind is when we done a
Red
show.
Eye.
So it wasn't Sheffield because I was going to say Sheffield.
Nah, the first time we came over, it's like we knew Pierre. I don't know how and what.
Grinder was a website called, and Grinder wasn't out then. Sorry,
Early development stage.
sorry, God.
I mean, it could have been definitely, but
just them adverts that you find in them CD magazines, mate.
Yeah, no, I been to London before, and I picked those red telephone booths. I picked the number.
Okay.
It said lovely Peruvian boy up for
Hardcore action.
and I was like, wow,
And can sing.
I called him up. He's like, we can do that, and we can book a tour. So that happened. Now we were, I think we were around with Born for Pain for not even a year or something. And we were playing shows, and somehow we wanted to go over to England, and I hit up Pierre and I said, yeah, if you can book a show, we're just coming out, just having fun and see you, He calls me back in the week and said, I booked 8 shows for you. Said, there's only 7 days. Like, yeah, he played 2 shows in 1 day too. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, this guy booked us a whole England tour in a week. and the first, I don't know if you were there, but the first time when I met Ray and Pierre and all those guys, I don't even know if he played with Knuckles. Was it the Red Eye? That was the first show. The Red Eye was a club behind Charing Cross?
No, it was King's Cross.
King's Cross, that's it.
Yeah, we've talked about the Red Eye on this podcast many times, man.
Oh, yeah?
Because that was like the venue back in the day, man.
Yeah.
That was like our spot.
Yeah, that's what I figured it was, right?
Yeah.
Because we came back a week later and played the Red Eye again.
Can you remember what...
On that tour.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you...
That was a Sunday night, wasn't it? Every Sunday night you had a gig on.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And that's the only venue we really had back then.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Can you remember which bands were supporting?
What were they called? We were talking about the other day with the naked drummer.
Assert.
Assert was
I
there,
loved Assert,
definitely.
man. A lot of people didn't like Assert, but I always really liked them.
The only thing I remember was this guy in his bare ass.
Yeah, with his balls and he, rest in peace, he passed away, man.
Yeah, I heard about
But
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, rest in peace. But I remember them, and we might have, I don't know, Maybe something like Area Effect. I don't fucking know.
Area Effect.
Wow.
Area Effect. Was that Manchester? It was Manchester, right?
Yeah.
Sheffield. That's a show that I was referring to. That's the first show that I thought I met you, and that was at the Speakeasy in Sheffield.
Oh, I don't remember that.
I can't remember. But what I was going to say, I always have banter with you about this, and I was going to. When we first started, we didn't really know how to play. We had shitty equipment, and we were just sounding like shit. And I remember you guys just come and you rolled on with these cabs. You had you had all the gear.
You know you need a cab to get sound out of your equipment.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is we had combo amps and shit. You had that's how bad we was. And I remember you just came on. You just blasted everyone away, and we was like, that's the first time I saw a band that was doing our type of music, but doing it properly, man.
Oh, cheers.
Do you know what I mean?
You know what it was back in the day? We were always we were well aware that we didn't do anything that was new to this world sound wise. We just tried to do the music we liked.
Yeah.
And bunches just I was always, I think especially me, but also everybody else at that point was very gung ho about going places with the band, not making necessarily a career, but just wanting to play everywhere, and we were if we want to do this right, we should at least be on point with equipment and sound and everything. That was always a very big thing for us to be on point like that.
No, that's fair enough.
And well, that's what basically. But I don't know was it that early already? Because in the early days we sounded shitty too.
No, but
when I talk to Dom now, Dom who plays guitar for us now, he started playing with us in 2002, I think, or 2003.
Yeah.
He said when I saw you guys, because he'd been seeing us almost since the first show, and he said when I saw you guys back then, you guys were definitely sound wise and playing wise, you guys were definitely not up to par. So.
Really? Is that what he said? I don't know what he would have thought of the bands from England.
Man, yeah.
Especially London.
He's also nicknamed Dumbo Negative, so I don't know. So it might be that.
I remember turning up to one of my first gigs where I'd bought a head to the gig, and I felt like I was a fucking pro because I turned up with a head instead of just my guitar and a pedal.
Everybody goes look at this prick with his fucking
look at this fancy cunt. Look,
conceited. Who the fuck does he think he is?
I mean, what I always liked about you guys is I remember I had a shitty guitar setup, and I used to use a Metal Zone pedal. You must have the copyright to what they call a lawnmower sound. I think I dubbed it the lawnmower sound. That's what you guys used to say. Your guitar sounds like a lawnmower.
Yeah.
But what I liked about you guys, when you play a show, that it was kind of shit, but you'll come off stage and people will be like, "Oh yeah, your show was amazing." When you know that they know it was shit. You used to always say to me, "Wayman, man, you were shit today, man." or your guitar sounds
sorry.
completely out of shit. And I always
I'm sorry.
No, but I like that because that was just real for me. I was like, this is a real person, man.
All right, good. If that is what you took away from that, then thank you. It wasn't meant any different way, but I remember you coming up to us at some point and saying, "What would you do about this sound then?" Or something like that, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Or I think when Theo signed you guys, he was like, "Hey, talk to these guys." I'm the last one to talk. I'm the most untechnical person ever. I used to play bass, but everybody knows I couldn't. So it was just the thing was Shay and me wanted to start a band, and I could play bass a tiny bit, and he couldn't do anything. So I'm like, okay, you sing, I play bass. That's how it went,
That's how it came together.
Because I was never
only being able to do a little bit though. Everyone starts being.
That's why we choose hardcore, because you need 3 chords.
Oh yeah, true.
Good, yeah.
But the weird thing is, I never played instruments before. I was always a singer in all my other bands. It was like,
so you started out as a singer.
Yeah, I always did. I played in this band, Feeding the Fire. And that was I always just sang. So that's why this was later on a natural progression to come back. Everybody's like, why don't you just sing again,
And I say, see, we're getting, this is all starting to make sense, man. I wanted to ask you, so what was your introduction into hardcore? How did you, for you, man?
For me, the first things I got of punk hardcore was through, basically to thrash metal. You know, like dudes like Metallica, Slayer wearing like Dead Kennedy shirts, GBH shirts. You know, and I was like, I'm curious about that, and like that became a little bit trendy in the mid '80s. You know, like to be a metal guy and be into punk and hardcore a little bit. You know, and I started to check stuff out. And to be honest, when I heard GBH the first time, that "Give Me Fire" song, I was like, yo, this sucks. this is not hard at all. You know, what the fuck is this? You know, I was used to listening to, you know, like Possessed and like Exodus, Bonded by Blood and stuff like that, and I was like, this is whatever, you know, like what do these guys think is so cool about this, you know? And but you know, like what I really liked, what I got into hardcore with was like Misfits, especially the Earth AD album, was very trashy, hardcore, you know, and then stuff like AF, Victim in Pain, The Accused. I don't know if you guys remember that band or know that band.
The Accused.
The Accused is like a crossover band.
No, I never heard of them.
Yeah, and they were like very trashy, mixed that thrash metal-y sound with hardcore a lot, and that was like you know, that was like kind of a purgatory to get into to the proper thing, you know, and that later on that just started, you know how it goes, and you turn 16, you sell all your fucking Iron Maiden records because that's not cool, and like 2 years later you think, what an asshole am I, fucking sold all my records, you know, so stupid.
Do you think that we're seeing that when you go to your first hardcore show and you see the energy, especially back then, like the energy that a lot of those shows had, do you think that kind of like would make more sense of the music on tape? You know what I mean? Is that kind of... Because I think that for a lot of people it follows that way. They kind of like listen to it and they're like, okay. And then they'll go and see it live and then, holy
that's
shit.
That's where they get caught, man.
Now.
Yeah. I remember going to my first hardcore punk show, which was a very local show. And like our scene is... It's like a small town. It's like... It had like a couple of metal guys there, gothic dudes and girls and like punks and skinheads. I just remember being very violent. There was always fights, you know. And I was like 16 or 15. I was like, holy fuck, you know, like this is crazy, you know.
What
like
year was that? 1962.
49, just after the war, you know. They were just like but nah, yeah, you know, like and that I really the show for me that really did it, where I was like, yeah, I think this is my thing. Is I was like 16 or something. Or maybe, yeah, it must have been around that. And there was a bus trip to, it was only like 40-50K, but like they went to the Exploited. And it was all like skinheads, punks and hardcore dudes. And like Exploited, that was the heyday back then. And it was like, that show was insane. Really insane. Yeah. Like insane. Like from people shooting up in the toilets to like, I kid you not, like scum punky, like crusty, like skinheads, violent fights, broken noses, and I was like, holy fuck, this is crazy. Let's go to the next one of these. Obviously after that it was all downhill from there, because like never seen a crazier show like that from that point on, but whatever, you know.
I remember seeing them in the mid-90s or late 90s, The Exploited, and it was fucking... You felt kind of in danger, but it was like good as well. You felt like you weren't safe.
Everyone but us. Straight from the heart of London.
Yeah, I've got a spunkle over my mouth. Yeah, so we're back, man. We had to have a short break because Ironed Out had to sound check, and we sounded amazing. What? I sounded amazing. These lot were...
You've been getting a lot of props for your bass playing, huh?
I know, man.
I see a lot of people coming up to you and going like, yo, he's such a good bass player.
You're so handsome. Yeah, I get that a lot, man. But you know, it's nice. I started out on the bass. Like I started out in the soul band.
Are you more bass player than the guitars, actually?
I would say I think my fingers are built for a bass.
Yeah.
The long, man. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Good for a bass.
You don't play with a pick, right?
Nah. Especially in Ironed Out, the type of music we play, like it's better to do it with the fingers because you can hit the groove better.
Yeah.
But less about me and more about you.
All right.
Because you're the important one.
Flicking the bean with the strings and it.
So like, when do you decide to? What was we saying? You was talking about some of your early influences.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, what was like the Holland scene like back when you started getting into that type of music, and then you just discovered hardcore? What were the bands in Holland or even mainland Europe that you started that were really like
stood out to you, like?
Yeah, but I really like there was some German bands like Spermbirds. Probably never heard it
remember
also.
the name.
Yeah, Spermbirds were good. They had like they were a German band that sounded pretty hardcore. You know, like there were not a lot of European bands that sounded American hardcore-ish. Spermbirds did.
Okay.
And they had a singer from the US. I think it was a GI bait, like stationed on a base somewhere in Germany. They sounded pretty hard. I was really into that. And you had a couple other bands like Jingle the Lunch, Challenger Crew.
Never heard of them.
Nah, that is like I'm talking mid and the 80s here.
Oh shit, yeah,
When you
yeah.
just started discovering shit, underground stuff, you know.
So you got into this shit early, like.
Yeah, I think I was like I must have been 15, 16. So I mean, I'm born in 71. So you do the count.
Do the maths.
Do the math. Yeah, it must have been like mid 80s, something like that, you know. So and that's what the kind of stuff I was into. And then when I started doing bands, you know, like there were a couple of bands that started to pop up that were good, like really proper sounding hardcore bands with a message, like Profound and Manlifting Banner and bands
remember
like
Profound.
that, you know. Yeah, and that's what I was really into, you know.
Right Direction, Backfire.
Those guys, those are
they before Born from Pain?
Yeah, they were kind of, yeah. They were Backfire just like a couple of years earlier, Right Direction more years than that, but they were like always, I don't know, in the beginning we never got along with those guys. I don't know, for God knows what kind of a reason
hear
that
that,
was. No, they know. I mean, like that was always.
I never knew that you had beef.
A bit of a beef, yeah. It was like never a physical beef, but it was more like, oh, this and that, you know, blah blah blah. No one was really, you know. But then Richie, who was
rest in peace.
God rest his soul, you know, like he's like he kind of started bringing it a little bit back together. When we started up Born for Pain, I was like, yeah, let's, you know, we played a release show of theirs and they played with us, and then it all normaled out, you know, like we've been friends with those guys for years and years now. So I mean, but they were a little bit earlier than us, yeah.
No, okay, cool, man. So whose idea was it to start Born from Pain?
Me and Che. Like we were basically when Feeding the Fire split up, which was in '96, I think. We were, I was getting into heavier music, like heavier kind of hardcore, away from like the more straight edge Youth Crew sounding stuff and like typical classical hardcore. And like bands like Stigmata came around. Marauder put out that first split with Stigmata. And then you had the first Under the Knife, the Hatebreed, you know, like, and All Our War, and you know, like, and we were like just listening to all that shit. And we were like, yo, we gotta start a band like this. We were not like, oh, we gotta sound special. We gotta sound exactly like this. So we started basically sounding like Hatebreed and all those bands. Which
I was gonna say, did you get accused of like
oh yeah,
sound like Hatebreed?
Yeah, people were like, oh, this is Euro Hatebreed.
I think that's what happens for a lot of bands from UK and Europe, that you try and replicate a sound with a band that's from America, is that you're just trying to jump on a hype or whatever, but you're obviously influenced by your influences. I don't see it as a band.
Yeah, no, me neither. I agree. And like the thing is, like, I mean, we were just having fun doing it, you know. We never thought this was going to we never thought this was going to go the way it went after that, you know. Like
what, downhill?
Well, in many ways it did. So.
No, I'm joking.
My life, but
no, not at all, man.
No, but you know what it is? We started out doing local shows, some of which you guys played with Knuckle Dust, because and we were like, oh, we always got a great response back home, and like because of, you know, like trading shows with guys like you, other people, you know, and like we ended up playing places, and then all of a sudden, you know, like people took such a liking that they were really asking us to play everywhere, you know. We were like, holy fuck. And that's when we actually started like, okay, we gotta really have a good sound, we gotta buy good equipment, you know.
Yeah.
And then we started putting all our money into that kind of stuff, you know, and it was like
like I said, when I first heard you, I was blown away, man, by how, you know what I mean, to me, he was mad professional, man. But so you had Shay on vocals.
Yeah.
Who was it? I was gonna say Northern Cole.
Who?
Northern Cole.
Cole?
Cole.
Oh,
My
Cole.
accent.
Northern Cole. Oh.
Northern Cole.
All right.
He
okay.
He wasn't the first guitarist. He was the first because.
No, he wasn't. Like, he came, that thing went like this. The first time we came to England, we met Carl. He was playing Canvas back then.
Yes.
He put on a show for us, it was Sheep that put the show on for us. We slept, I think, they were all like that old, I don't know, you guys probably know, that whole scene in Leeds, and we were staying at like...
That scene was good, like, yeah, popping. It was popping scene, man.
Yeah, and we stayed at people's places, and we stayed at Carl's house, I think. And he was like, yeah, he was really, really into the band. He put out that first, the Immortality, the mini-CD, first didn't come out at Theo's, came out on Carl's label. I don't even fucking know what it's called anymore. What was that called?
Immortality.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what that's called. Contrition Records. Contrition Records.
Oh, he's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and after that, he didn't want to do a repress, and Theo's like, "Oh, put it out. Go, let me put the record out," and that became GSR. GSR, is it number 1 or 2 or 3? I don't know. That's what it became. So, but we said to Carl, because he was always enthusiastic. I said to Carl at one point, like, if anyone leaves the band that plays guitar, you can play for us. And he's like, yeah, I'll do that. I'll move over. I'm like, no, you won't. He's like, yeah, give me a call if that happens. And sure enough, after a while, like, not after a while, but a year or 2 years later, Survey, our original guitarist, he left.
Yeah.
And I called up Carl. Carl's like, yeah, I'll move. I'm like, are you sure? He's like,
That's
yeah.
fucking crazy.
Yeah.
I remember him telling me, and I was like, that's nuts.
Yeah. I thought it was nuts.
Yeah, like,
but he didn't have not much to do. He worked at USC in Leeds. You know where USC is? Clothing shop.
Oh, no, I don't know.
And he had this whole, I probably shouldn't be saying this on the podcast, but he had a whole scam where he like scammed the store.
Really?
That never happened. Cut it out. I didn't say that. No, but he's
they're out of business now. Now we know why.
But anyways, like he was doing that kind of stuff, but I think he was not happy in Canvas anymore because he wanted to play that kind of music we were doing.
Yeah, because Canvas were quite quite. What's the word?
Technical, like techie, like.
What would you? Congress? How would you?
Congress?
But not like Congress, but how would you define that style? You know, like where it's not Pacific. There's a word for it.
It's kind of like noise core.
Yeah, what do you call it?
Yeah.
Noise core.
Yeah, something like that, you know.
Yeah.
Like all those
heavy as fuck.
I thought
but like
really
noisy and.
No, they were good. They were a good band that became more experimental later on, but they were good when like they were a heavy band. But I didn't think he I think he just wanted a change in life too, you know.
Yeah.
And then he came over and ruined our lives. So.
So that brings me on to our next question about Gangstar. Like, so Theo GSR, who Knuckle Dust has been with for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, you and Theo, how did you know each other?
He just, he was at I think he was doing a distro at a show.
Okay.
Something, and we talked to each other, you know, and he asked if he could come to a show or whatever, and he was like, oh, I think you guys are really good, you know, like, I want to put you guys out, and blah, 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 blah. Now, the first thing he actually did is put us on that Colas Live tour, that first one. He's like, oh, you guys, you know, you can be support. And that was our first Euro tour in 98. We were on tour with those guys for like 3.5 weeks.
What was that like?
Crazy.
And that was crazy.
Like the first night we met those guys, we played somewhere in the north of Holland. Like we rolled up and well, let me put it this way. We started, the show as it started anyways was rough because we were dancing, and it was like there was a lot of that. There was a village with a lot of, I think, locals that had never heard of that kind of music, and the way the people behave at a show like that. So it was very violent. Got into fights. Police came to get Wouter, our drummer. They wanted to arrest him. He had to hide under the merch table. Then Colas Live started. I think it might have been during Colas Live set already, but Johnny Haidt, rest his soul as well. Johnny's
rest in peace.
Gone, unfortunately. Yeah, he came off the plane completely high on something, completely out of this world, and he was like, and they were already like, hey, this guy can't play, you know, like it's crazy, and they were like, oh fuck this, blah blah blah, and then they started playing, and like he was, I guess, you know, like Mike, the bassist, he kicked him in the back because he was doing all kinds of crazy shit, and the stage had a weird like how do you call it, a weird fence in front of it, so which came to like middle height, so he fell over, bumped back, kind of like just didn't fall over, bumped back, and then while he bumps back he turns and Jeff just hits him with the mic in the face, pop, and drops it. And we're like, oh, this is a good
welcome to the tour.
3.5 weeks of touring. Is this how it's going to be, huh? And there wasn't any shows that were crazier than that one in that department, but it was pretty crazy. Like this, that was a great time. Still talk to a couple of those guys. They're like great.
I love shit like that's what at the time it feels like nuts, but then you can laugh about it. You can, do you know what I mean, reminisce and like think about it.
Yeah, at the same time you look at it, you're like, what the fuck? And at the same time you're like, oh, hey, you know, like, I mean, you know, like it's better than being a tour with boring dudes, you know.
Like us.
Yeah.
We haven't punched
Now
anyone
you're
yet,
squeezing
actually.
out.
We need to find someone to punch. Can I punch you with a mic, Steve?
No, you can't, no.
Lewis, can I punch you with a
I'm
mic?
good, mate. All
You
right.
sure?
Well,
Yeah, we ain't got
Steve,
into
let's remember that the guitarist got punched. Okay, I'm just saying. In that story, the guitarist got punched.
Oh, yeah. I'm play bass in this band, so it's all right.
yeah. No, you know what? I don't think it's because we're getting older in it, but we haven't got into any fights, like any trouble or anything since we've been in this band.
You're going to jinx it now. Something's
Yeah,
going to happen
no,
tonight,
we're
innit?
gonna
Someone's
get into
going
it
to
later.
murdered or thrown out of a window. Reclaiming the Crown, man. That was your first release on GSR. Like, fucking classic album, man.
Cheers.
Like, the production on it was fucking fat. Fucking... That sold a hell of a lot of CDs, right?
Well, for a hardcore band on that level, it might have. Yeah.
Are we allowed to talk numbers? We like to get specific on this.
I mean,
podcast.
what's a lot? That probably. For that specific number, you probably have to talk to Theo because he probably held back half the numbers from us. But
we're talking over. Well, from a hardcore point of view, over 10,000.
yeah, we did.
Are we hitting 15?
Maybe.
Nah, if you
Sense of Time did for sure.
That's fucking like you think if you sell 10,000 CDs now,
Yeah.
that's really good, right?
Yeah, Reclaiming sold over 10, and I think Sense might have hit 15, maybe more, with all the licenses. It had a South American license, had a US license.
I was releasing them countries as well.
Sense of Time was, yeah.
I didn't realize that, man.
Yeah, so that is actually how we got hooked up with Metal Blade. The guy who did the license in the States had a sub label,
Yeah.
and he was doing work for Metal Blade too. And he was talking to all these Metal Blade people in LA. And at that time, like the whole heavier hardcore metalcore thing was starting to be a thing. And all these independent metal labels like Metal Blade, Nuclear Blast, Century Media, they were trying to pick up Euro bands that you could spear point that kind of, for them, and like maybe as an inside for a couple of the US bands, because I know for a fact that we got signed to Metal Blade because they wanted some European bands that kind of were into that sound to also, maybe even away a little bit for bands like Unearth and stuff like that, like to something, not that
sure.
Unearth needed any evening of the path, I mean, that was a very popular band at that point in time, but like, I think it was just more to also have a European band like that, so everybody started signing that stuff, like that band Maroon got signed to Century Media.
Yeah.
Then as like Heaven Shall Burn got signed to Century Media, but that's a completely different level.
Yeah,
anyways.
they're completely huge now, right?
Yeah, and there were a couple of bands, like we got offers from all three basically back then, and we went with the Metal Blade one because the European guy who ran that was an old hardcore dude. He used to be on like, he knew all his Napalm Dead guys from back in the like the Cross days and shit like that, and he knew exactly what we were as a band, attitude-wise and everything. Like, you didn't need to explain to him what hardcore was, He knew exactly what we wanted and what we were, and he was like, and that guy's always been very good to us. And unfortunately, we've been saying this a lot, but rest in peace for him too, because that guy's gone too.
Oh, wow,
Michael
man.
Tranger.
Rest in peace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, but, like, that's through that license of Sense of Time. We actually, I think we owe a deal with Metal Blade to that, so.
Do you own all your publishing?
Say what?
Do you own all your publishing?
No. Not for
That's a
those
right
records.
nerdy question, like, but I've been thinking about
Not for
publishing
that
recently.
records.
And,
Not for those records. But the thing is, like, I think that must be that long a time ago. We might have it now. I don't know. That contract might have expired. I don't know.
you just look into that, man.
I'm gonna take a look at that.
But Born from Pain, like, you was one of the first bands that I remember you bought your own van and you went for it like full time. I thought that was quite a brave thing to do, man. Like, what kind of was that a conscious decision? Did you say, right, we're going to try and make a thing of this and make a living from it? And was there a lot of pressure?
Well, first off, I have to say, like, everybody always thinks it was a full-time thing, and not for everybody in the band it was a full-time thing. Like the thing is, I always did stuff on the side. I always worked on the side, always. At a certain point, we made, I would say, very good side money, but never lived off a band. Like, you could probably pay your bills off it, but that was it,
Yeah, no, fair enough, man.
I mean, that doesn't, like, I don't know. That never happened like that to us.
So what was the end game? When you was like, right, we're going to play as much as
Play our
we
Maiden
can.
tour. That's the end game still.
No, but was you thinking I could get to a point where we're like hate breed? Or you never considered that? or was it just purely for the fun?
I have to be honest. For a band like us, I mean, a band like Hatebreed is obviously like how you probably would ideally go about it, you know. If we even talk career wise, you know, like go about it. I mean, in your own way, I guess. But as a band, let me put it differently. As a band that, like maybe it depends on how you look at it, obviously. But that made a lot of, I guess, good choices in their years, and like got in a lot of good tours, and like just did a lot of stuff the right way, you know. But that also means you're not at home anymore. That also means you have to have a little bit of luck, and it also means you have to have very good connections, or people that have very good connections. And although I think I would dare to say we're pretty well connected, I don't think we're that well connected, you know. So,
yeah, I would have thought you're one of the most connected bands in Europe easily.
Yeah, but that gets you to a certain like that doesn't get you on a Slayer.
So the
tour.
sucking the dick.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't get on those tours, so I must have sucked the wrong dicks, you know. Like, I don't know, you know. No, but it was always for us. It was always a thing. Like if we can get and take this as we always. Like there was never people ask me. There's an interview still to this day. So what's there for Born for Pain? What's your biggest goals? Like my biggest goal is at the point that we tap out, that we have a lot of respect for peers. That people say, yeah, Born for Pain, that was cool. You know, I might not like all their CDs, but you know those whatever, you know, and they did it the right way. And if I try to do it the right way, you know. The band tries to do it the right way, and we play bars that hold 50 people to fucking venues that hold 50,000 if we could. But like, the thing is, like, I don't think I'm particularly more hardcore or less hardcore than anybody else, you know.
No, I respect, man.
You know, and the thing is, you know, if that happens, and I can take everything in between from whatever tour to whatever, as long as I'm having fun, then I'm doing it, you know. Like I don't. You know, you should hear my mom. She goes like, "Son, you're 47 now. Don't you think it's you're old enough to quit that band by now?" They always think it's like a fucking kiddie thing, you know.
I know, they do.
My sister done that to me once, and like I got offended, man. Like proper got, and she see my face after, and she was like, "Oh, I apologise." And I was like, "Well, thanks for apologising."
What did she actually say to you?
She was, "Oh, what are you ever going to give this sort of band thing up and think about like a future and stuff?" Well, it's not about that. It's a release. Decide. As well as your regular life, you do this as well. Like so.
It's what gets you through your regular life.
Exactly. And that's like it's just something you love to do, you know. Like I mean, other people fucking go to church, go wherever they go see movies every weekend,
go to the casino, some shit, go football or whatever. People have their advice.
And the thing is, you know, like I mean, why would I, you know, like. I mean, I'll stop when every show is 5 people showing up, but even then, I probably have fun on stage. You know what it is? I mean, it's become so much part of my life. I cannot even. I was talking.
I'm the same, man.
Yeah, I talked to Naomi a lot about this. You know, I couldn't even give this up, even if I wanted to. You know, like
Naomi's your girlfriend, right? Yeah. People are,
And I can't even imagine a life without it. You know, like it's so ingrained. Like it's like I've been doing this for 22 years.
You can't. Yeah.
Like I don't even know how my life would look like if I would like say, okay, I'm tapping out of the band. This is what it is. You know, like I'll just go visit my friends at shows. You know. Jesus Christ.
Well, you've led me on to my next question again. Like I was going to say, because like with Born from Pain, you was 4 albums deep and you was doing well, and then Shay decided to leave the band.
Yeah.
And like, what was that like at the time when he said he wanted to leave? And was you like the band?
It was a longer, winding process. Shay, we could see that Shay was kind of getting over it, and it took a long time for him to actually leave. It was a long, winding process where, I mean, we talk to each other now. Like there's been a moment of like, or a little while where we were like, fuck this, you know. But
so when it happened, I mean, you don't have to get into it, but there was
no. But there's no bad blood now. I mean, the thing is like, he was just over it, and we were over him, you know. Like that was just how it was at that point, you know. Like, and being over him was not like, we think he's just an asshole, period, because that's not what it was. It was like, you could totally see that he wasn't into the band anymore. He wasn't liking traveling with the band anymore, and I don't know why he kept doing it for such a long time still, but like that's how it was. Maybe I can imagine he liked just being on stage too, and like, but everything else he didn't like anymore. But that obviously causes friction, and we could, I mean, let's be honest, with nothing against you or anybody else, but with a bassist or a guitarist or whoever is not like the most fundamental person writing all the songs, do whatever, you can say, okay, you got to leave now. But with a singer, you try to like talk again, because that's like a predominant part of your sound, you know. And but it got to a point, like I think we did a tour with Napalm Death, and it was really getting out of hand there. Like, not like physically, but just the whole atmosphere was fucked up. People didn't talk to each other.
He was over there, and you was like over here.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, you know. And but we still had a headline tour after that of 3 weeks. So we had to, and I came up like 2 weeks after that, so we had to do it. And like he was like, okay, it's going to be my last tour, you know. Like, I just want you to know it's that, and then it's done. And then we just had to do something else. But like, and obviously, like, coming back to your question, yeah, that's annoying, because, you know, like, how the fuck are we, you know, like, is this gonna... The one thing was, we were so ambitious and so wanted to do the band so much. I can understand why a band would say, okay, maybe we split up now. And maybe there were people back then say, Bone for Pain should have split up. But like, we were like, we love doing this band. Why we should fucking split up because he wants to leave, you know?
Oh, so when he sorry, go on, Steve. What was you going to say?
No, it's just agreeing. Like, I think, you know, if you've spent so much time and put so much effort into something, all right, yeah, the singer's leaving, but, you know, you can start again. You have.
Yeah. And the thing with that was, you know, like, we tried to solve it in a good way, but it was also very confusing. I don't know if you're up to date with what we did back then.
I was going to say, you had Cole from First Blood.
He did one tour in France with us for a week.
Oh, was he never meant to be full time then?
Well, we were kind of thinking about it, but Carl at that point in his life was very much like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. I don't know, you know. And there's literally, I don't know a lot, you know. So we're like, oh, this is not going to work out, because...
Was he living here in Europe at the time, or was he an American?
Nah, I think he was still in America, but he was very not bound to anything, I think. So he could have actually been here for longer. He actually did a couple of one-off shows, but I think we even flew him out here for that, because and to stay for 2 weeks. I think he did a week of France and then another weekend after that with shows, and it actually sounded really good. But like he was like, you know, and then we're like, oh, this is not going to work out, I think.
And what shocked me, I never knew this. You actually had Scott Vogel from Terror as well.
You didn't know that?
I didn't know
maybe,
that.
Maybe I don't remember it. No, I don't.
Well, that just means all you didn't show up to that London show back then. We did Hell on Earth tour, which was at the end of the summer there. We were like, that was going to be Hell on Earth was that other tour Amity used to do. Walls of Jericho was still like really big in Europe, and we were supposed to go headline that, and that looked good. It had good pre-sales and everything, and I was like, fuck, how are we gonna do this, you know? Still no new singer, fuck. And I just hit up Scott, because I've known Scott since forever and we've been friends.
Remember what I said about contacts? Do you know what I mean? Not many people can just phone up Scott or Cole from well-established bands and say, yeah, come sing in my band, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, you know.
Yeah, Freddie, Madball, you got a few weeks? Can you fill in for us? Do you know what I mean?
Hey, don't hate the players, hate the game, okay?
Hey!
No, but it's like, because I knew, like, you know, like, we always had a very good connection, and like, I know he liked the band, so he's like, yeah, I don't have nothing, you know, I'll come over and do it. And yeah, he did that tour for 3 weeks. That was actually crazy tour. Like, it was really good. And obviously we knew this guy can't stay, but it was, you know, it's like...
When you say crazy, you mean crazy in the sense of the shows, or just things that happened, the whole
shows
thing?
Were crazy, I mean...
Fights?
No, not fights, but like, there were like, it was just... I don't know, there was just like so many weird and crazy situations. It's like...
Can you share any? Can you remember any?
I remember the first day of tour in Frankfurt. It's not so crazy, but it was just very astonishing. We were like, what the fuck? He might have been kidding, but it didn't come across like that. And whatever, if you were called from Earth Crisis, then I'm sorry. But they were on a tour like... they were on a tour with that band Freya that they used to do.
Fred, I think they were some favorite records or something like that.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And they were like, I think, opening the tour or something, or the second band on, and we were sitting, and they were sharing a bus with us, and I'm sitting there with him, Scott, and, you know, me talking about Hawker, and then he goes, Scott, he goes like, that band Hatebreed, how are they doing nowadays? This is Hatebreed blowing up all over, like, and like, Scott and I look at each other, we're like, what? Are you serious?
Where you been?
But that was like, I don't even know. Carl might have been kidding, but like, I don't know. I think he might have been maybe a little bit out of the. Maybe he was out of the loop a little bit, but I don't know. But it was like, but there were like, it was just crazy, as in the constellation of him singing for us, and then like the shows being crazy, and then like it was a good tour. It was a good tour, yeah.
So Scott was never meant to.
No, we knew he was never going to do it. He was singing for Terror, and I mean that's like, I mean he had a life, like in the States, how you going to do it, but no, we knew it was just like for the 3 weeks, and that was it.
Cool, man.
Yeah, and then we tried out a couple of guys, and we always said,
why didn't you call me?
Sorry, you know who we did call and who did a tryout for us? Sheep. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but
his style's a bit different though.
Yeah,
like,
no,
he's
that's
a bit
what I'm
more.
saying.
Yeah,
he tried out. He wanted to try out, and he said, "I want to try and do it," because he wanted to tour, And but the style was just too different.
Yeah, he's more like
Sheep,
that
but it was
screamy.
Yeah, it was too much like that, And we tried out Good for Focal
Too much like what? Come on, just say it.
Huh?
Just say it.
No, it was too screamy. Like
No, I'm just joking.
No,
I'm trying to dig some deep out, but Sheep, we love you.
Yeah.
So like, finally you find, is it Kevin from End of Days?
Oh yeah.
How long was he in the band for?
Half a year.
I remember this.
Half a year.
He's just coming back with.
What?
I remember when this guy was in the band and it didn't.
What are you saying?
We was doing a gig together, and I remember you didn't really click together or something.
No. That worked. No, as people. Afterwards, he was a box trainer for a long time. Like he's like big on that. But like,
okay.
No, we're good. But the thing is, he was. I think he underestimated the effort that went into a band like that, And then he was having troubles with his voice, and he was trying to also finish. What university?
What type of troubles with his voice? When you say,
I think he just had vocal cord problems or something like that,
like a sore throat, or
no.
Sometimes it goes beyond there. I think like actual chords itself are fucked up, and you need like surgery and shit. Like,
yeah.
Oh, like so
it might have been something like that. I don't know if he ever had surgery, but it was. But anyways, he started after that. It started like we went to Russia for 7 days. And after that, he goes like, Rob, I have to talk to you. I don't think I can do this. I'm like, you've been in the band for 3 months. We've been out to everywhere, pictures, this and that.
Shit.
Sometimes pictures of that still pop up at shows, like show flyer for Born for Pain, and someone just rips the fucking first picture they see, and it's him on there. I'm like, Jesus Christ, and... So and then we were like, Jesus Christ, this is just a coming and going of people. This is sure, and this is what I said. We did a lot of stuff where I think wasn't very beneficial. People must have thought at some point it is getting to be a joke now. Like it's people coming going. I mean,
I must admit, I think there was a thing like where people were thinking, it's being in Born from Pain was like intense, like you're on the road all the time, and maybe that's why members were leaving, because it was just so intense that they couldn't keep up with the.
Oh, that was definitely the case with Kevin. And then there were like 2 other people. So like, you remember Drift?
No, I don't.
Dom used to play in Drift too. Their singer Marcel, he tried out for that was too much for him too.
Okay,
and then he's like, I can't do this. You can't do this full on, And then we said, okay, why don't you give it a try? And it took me, took me a while to get settled in, but
I was going to say that. So that's how it came about. Someone just said, try vocals, and then...
Yeah, I said it too. I was like I said to these guys, like they were like suggesting, and I was like, you think I should, like, I always used to write all the lyrics.
You wrote everything for all the albums?
I wrote everything. So the thing is...
I never knew that. I thought Shay would have done some of the writing.
No. But like, no, not for nothing.
No,
I mean, that's how it, I guess that's how it organically grew, and... The thing is, like, I just more in my element when I got a microphone in my hand. Like, I'll be the first one to admit I wasn't the best bass player in the world, and I'm putting it very lightly here.
And with you being a singer, it's like you're the lead of it now. You ain't depending, like I said, if a guitarist leaves and that, it's bad, but. You can find another guitarist, but a vocalist
You've
is
got
always
a stable vocal sound now.
Yeah.
Carry on with.
Yeah, and obviously we did realize like there's going to be people who's going to be liking it, and there's people that are not going to be liking it anymore. But hey, it is what it is. So
I mean, for me, I'll be honest. When I first saw you on stage, you sounded good, but it was just weird because I always heard you on the bass. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it took me time to adapt to like seeing you, not because you sounded bad, just because I weren't used to you singing for Born from Pain. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I've
yeah, no,
always
I know what
seen,
you mean, yeah.
but like now you fucking absolutely like destroy it, man. So before we get onto your new album, man, I wanted to just quickly run through all your releases, man.
Yeah.
We can't go from like in detail, but like, yeah, do you just run through them quickly? You had Sands of Time.
You want to start from the beginning or what?
Yeah, start from the beginning, man.
Immortality.
Immortality.
Yeah, that was the first thing we recorded. Then Reclaiming the Crown. Obviously, that was the first full length. Did Sense of Time, which I think for us was a big record because that got us.
Yeah.
That got us different deals. That got us that opened a lot of doors. That was a sound that Too Much and still says about that album. Like that got me bands like Heaven Shall Burn coming to me. That got because they all referred, hey,
Is that the one that Chew done?
That was the first record he did.
Yeah.
And
big up to Chew in Denmark. Great producer, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still still to this day, super cool dude.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
100, man.
After that, what did we do after that? Love at the End.
Yeah.
And
I've got a list there. I want to see how good your memory is. Go on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was our first record of Metal Blade. War was the second, and then Survival the third. That's the first one I sang on.
Yeah.
And they wanted to actually offer us a deal after that, but we just wanted away from the whole thing. We were done with
Metal Blade.
Yeah, the guy. I mean, it's Michael who signed us. He passed away by that point. No, not he wasn't passed away yet, but I know I won't go into it. But there was stuff going on at the label where he even said to me, "I'm tapping out of the label. I'm leaving the label, and if you have problems with what you're telling me that is, you probably better leave too because that's the reason why I'm leaving." So we said, "Yeah, we don't want to do this anymore."
Okay.
And we put out The New Future, which not everybody knows about because we totally overestimated ourselves. Said, we can do this ourselves. We just get distro. We promoted ourselves.
I thought it was on Gangstar again. That was on GSR again.
Well, that's the thing. That Theo released it half a year after we tried to release it via the internet and all kinds of stuff. So you probably just heard about it then.
Yeah.
And there's some that album's been a part. It's always been discussions about that album with people because we were I think we were at a period in the band where we were getting tired of doing the same thing over and over again.
I heard that in the album.
Yeah, and we had some electronics in that album. And
it was kind of like...
People were they went dubstep. And I'm they went dubstep? How did you get they went dubstep? Have you ever heard that album by any chance?
Yeah, I have. And it was a lot different.
Yeah, it's because of that. Yeah. There's a lot of I think the biggest difference is the couple of things in the 3 songs which have a little bit of electronics in it.
Yeah.
One song has a lot of electronics in it. And the sound is different. You know, the way it's produced.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of songs that just sound boom for pain.
It had that kind of pitch shifter kind of vibe to it a little bit.
It could be, I don't know. Pitch shifter, who pitch shifter? The band pitch shifter?
Fair Factory kind of...
You mean the band pitch shifter?
Yeah.
I love pitch shifter.
Yeah.
Great old pitch shifter, but I wish it would sounded like that, but it didn't. But no, our influences were just electrical influences on a level like electropop would do in the 80s, stuff like that. Not that we wanted to sound like that, but we were let's experiment with that. But we should have just done that under a different name. So people now are oh shit, this band is gone. And now we just started to notice. We did a couple of tours. I remember doing a tour in England. That was probably our last tour we did in England.
Tour England, man.
We were doing a tour in England with Shaped by Fate and Heart of a Coward. It was a nightliner tour.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
okay.
And it was 11 shows. And this is just the point that the band was at too. We weren't headlining it with Shaped by Fate, but. Just being, we were with those bands, that's probably, a good thing to do, for England or whatever, but it really wasn't, and it wasn't really, those guys were all super nice, especially Shaped by Fate, the Heart of a Coward too, but they were, I mean, it was just, the sound they were all making was just not what, we fit more into what London always did, and
noise.
Stuff. Yeah, no, but just that kind of heaviness of hardcore, but not that style, that was more Kerrang stuff to me, and the thing is, all the shows sucked, literally all 11 shows.
I remember that Welsh show. That must have been 15 people there or something.
Yeah, but it wasn't that tour I'm talking about.
Ah, okay.
right?
So that was
was
separate.
something way earlier.
Ah,
This
okay.
I'm talking about 2007 or 8 maybe.
So literally no one turned up to the shows.
Yo, I remember we played the Purple Turtle, and I was like, at least this gonna be good. Yo. No one male in the London scene turned up. Not even Billy Caliber was there, and he always used to come out. He always used to hit me up and goes, "Rob, I see you guys there, huh? And can you put me on the list?" Yeah, come down. It was just Luis, Anthea, and Naomi that turned up, and I was like, God damn!
Wow.
Like we gotta I don't know what's going on, but this is like no one likes us anymore. Fuck. And like, and that I got really drunk. I played that show really, really drunk, and I don't know. That would like after that, like I think we had New Future out, or yeah, I think so. But that was not the best period at the time of the band. We also decided to be a 4-piece, which is something that is ridiculous for us actually.
Yeah.
And Dom had one of those stomp boxes, going like, I can do it, like we can do it. We're telling ourselves, we can be as heavy as, like, no problem. It was a problem, And I think we lost ourselves maybe a little bit there,
Everyone but us. Straight from the heart of London.
But then you released your before we got into True Love. Yeah.
That's with the devil. Yeah, that kind of went a little bit back to everything,
Yeah,
Like, we were like, okay,
that's the one with the skull on the front, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. That was yeah.
And we did good stuff on that, Like everybody's like, oh, you guys are back, huh? I'm like, we're never gone, Like, but like I think
this is.
A lot of people don't even know that the New Future is an album, which is, like, I like the album, but it's just as well because it's been very, like, I don't know a lot of people that like that,
How did you manage to get in touch with Beatdown Hardware in terms of the release and stuff? Did they approach you, or was you looking for like another label or something?
No, we were looking for a label, but I said, like, we need something. I want to be on a label that is like, like out there and that, has finger on the pulse, that's of time, And he was doing a lot of good stuff, so... I think I don't know. I think I knew Tony through someone or whatever, and I just said, "Hey, we're releasing a new album. You wanna do this?" And he's like, "Yeah." And he was very interested, And I think shortly after us, he signed Rikers.
Oh yeah, when
he was getting and I think, but he's been amazing, like with everything, and like I mean, just we didn't want to be on a even if it's just an independent metal label anymore, I mean, seriously, I got nothing bad to say about Metal Blade for the longest time because they were always very, very good with us, They were never like, oh, this cover is not good, or those lyrics, or you got to sound a little bit more like this, No, and like that's a fantasy. I don't see labels that do that unless you're maybe on Sony or EMI or something, but. But also nothing against Theo, because he was also, maybe I can, but I just wanted something, and Dom wanted just something that is, that was fresher.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
That's fair enough, mate. Nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, because we were at a point, like I said, where we were like, okay, just let's get back to what we fucking, what we do. And I mean, I've at that point I hadn't worked 18 years just to, to have it like, and like something stupid and whatever, so.
No, I mean, I was gonna, because the good thing of all of us sitting here, we've been in the scene for like, how long you been in the scene, Lewis?
Since I've been obviously
15.
Sure, it's like I would say about 15 years.
It's a long time still,
that's a long
and that's
time,
all 20 plus. Now we've all been in bands, and obviously you're the same as me. You've been in one band since the beginning of.
Yeah.
And at some point, you do want to try different things, don't you? You don't want to keep doing, but people don't want to accept it.
No,
they want another reclaiming a crown, or do you know what I mean?
You have no idea how many people go like, "Can you come and play a show and then just do reclaiming the crown songs?"
Oh yeah, we
and
get that.
Maybe you can
yeah.
bring shade too. Like hey, like seriously, like you guys are all in bands. Yeah. You know how fucking disrespectful that shit is.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it.
I mean,
I get it, but you like what you write to the singer of a band now and ask him if the old singer can sing a show. Like what the fuck? This guy,
It's definitely disrespectful.
I mean, hey, and in all honesty, I mean, when we did the release show now, Shay sang a song with us. So I mean, that's like with like no whatever. But this band is just what it is. Like it's. I mean, like this is not like it's not to us like the one guy can come in and do this and do that and whatever. Like, and I can also tell you when this band is done, there's no reunions. This is done.
Because
we like doing it. And that's why we're doing it, you know. And if we don't like doing it anymore, because otherwise I'll just say we're on a hiatus or whatever. But I always think that's weird, you know. So that's why I understand, you know. Like I grew up listening to Slayer, Show No Mercy, Hell Awaits, you know, and maybe other people grew up with listening to God Hates Us All, you know, and that's their youth thing that they got into music with, and that's their best Slayer album. Now, God Hates Us All can never be my favorite Slayer album, and that's not because it's a bad album, but it's just because it doesn't have that emotional attachment for me.
Yes,
and I understand when people say that for Reclaiming the Crown or Sense of Time, but if they say, yeah, man, it would be great if you play Reclaiming the Crown songs again or Sense of Time. Well, then I just say you haven't been at the Born from Pain show the last 20 years, because in every fucking set there has been at least 4 or 5 songs smeared out over from those albums, you know. So I'm like, we still do that because we love it. We're not the kind of band that, oh, we got 8 albums out, let's just play the last 4, you know. And I love playing Finally. I love playing Reclaiming the Crown, you know. I don't play it because of a certain audience, you know. But what do you want me to do? Play songs I haven't played for 19 years? And there's a reason why they're not in the set list. There's also a reason.
They don't work.
And there's also a reason why they weren't in the set list in 2004 when the album came out in 2000s, because back then even we didn't think it was good enough, you know. I mean, you know. And I respect when people want to do that and hear that, and maybe for a very good friend or whatever, maybe at a certain point or for something you say, yeah, let's do that maybe, but it's kind of you know, it's kind of, you want to be, I think you want to be respected. I mean, like I said, you guys are all like in bands, like it's always weird when people just jock you for your first release, because I think my best release is the last one we did, you know. It's always the last one you were like, oh, I'm so happy with this record. And people are like, I like the record you did like 20 years ago best, man. And that's an opinion. That's cool,
I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot.
But we're trying to move forward, innit? Like as people, you always want to progress. But obviously, some people, let me rephrase that. Let's say, for example, an older person who's going to a show, like, that was his time when he heard that particular album.
Yes.
So when it's the newer sound, where newer kids are going to be into that particular sound, or go back, the older head just wants to hear the old thing. I mean,
You're right with the emotional attachment kind of thing. The thing that when you hear those songs, you get those memories back.
Yeah.
And like actually with Knuckle Dust, it's the London Hardcore CD, because that's the first thing I heard.
Oh, cool.
And when the first time I saw you guys live, you were still playing Never Forget.
Oh yeah.
And I just remember being like, oh man, I remember fucking thinking this is the shit, man. Like
you wouldn't recognize it now because there's not the lawnmower anymore, you know.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
Sorry, Liz.
So, take True Love away.
Yeah.
What's your favourite release out of all the others? Because you've already
probably War.
More than Reclaiming the Crown. The Crown.
Reclaiming the Clown, huh?
That's another one.
I've got to speak to him.
That's another one reason.
The Crown. Do you know what? My front teeth is
you know
fucked.
what?
I'm trying to.
But other than that, yeah, because like I know Reclaiming the Crown is like an album. I love for it being. It's still like Together with Immortality. It's like the first 10 songs you write or the first 15.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of like there's a lot of youthful although I was probably not youthful back then even, but it's very spontaneous, you know.
Yeah.
Before you really start thinking about how we write a song, you know,
how
like
do we structure it? How do we?
But I think War is just the most complete album, you know. Like it's like
War, man.
It's. I think I was listening to the records before we started recording this one and writing it, you know, and I was like, I went to Dharma, like I hit him up, I go like, yo, instead of just listening to War since like 10 years or something, I'm like, not to jock ourselves, but that's a great album. You know? and no, but just like, you know, like all that kind of stuff, like it was, I have to say, if you say, hey, you know, that was probably also the time that Born for Pain really peaked, you know, like, like before you find your stability somewhere, you know, like, I mean, that was, and I think it kind of, you know, like, I don't know, but it kind of is as if you can hear it in the songs, you know, like in the, I don't know how to say it, it's weird, but we were like on top of a game, I guess.
You just knew who you were, and you basically,
I mean, I like this album better, but that album is like, especially for when you're asking metalhead, they like that album.
Yeah.
I think when you've got momentum as well in a band, and you're just on riding that wave of like, you know, you've got everyone's pulling in the same direction. You all want to do the same thing. You know what I mean? When it's like that, you always do the best stuff and get so much more accomplished as a band.
Oh man,
Yeah,
For real.
yeah, just
You
whenever
hear it in the sound.
Yeah, exactly. I guess that's what I mean. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, you know, like that's why, you know. I mean, obviously I like, but it's hard. It's like making you choose between your kids. You know who you like best. You know, like
Some people do.
None of them.
He don't know his kids. They're scattered around the world.
But the thing is, you know, there's always a certain you always put a shitload of yourself into an album and into songs. You know, I mean, when you're invested, that is. You know.
Now, what's your worst? What do you listen to now and go, that's fucking...
Wow, new future, but just because of, no, but just because of, like, I can't say it like that, same thing, but like because of the whole vibe around it, you know, and like the band was in a dip, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
There was a lot of stuff going on.
Do you play any songs off that album?
Not anymore. We used to for a while.
Did they ever go down live well? Any of
Yeah,
them?
we have that song "Change or Die" went down really well. That was
Okay.
actually, I think, the only song we did in a frequent.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we did that song "American Trees," and that's also from there.
I'm shit with name titles, man. If I heard it,
whatever,
I know. Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
I'm not expecting. I'm not expecting you
Yeah.
to know what it is, but I'm just saying. You know, we did that for a while, but like that kind of, you know, like you have to, you know, there's only so much time you can play on the stage. You know, like
Yeah. I
if
get
we've
that,
done
man.
Metallica sets 2.5 hours, maybe there would be something in there. You know, but not so much now.
So let's get on to your latest release, True Love.
I like it.
I like the title.
I wish I
man.
would have known this before we recorded.
I told you, man. Why
got
you get
Ian on
Chris?
backing.
Why you get Chris Tyson, man? Second time you diss me.
Oh shit! second
When you're
time I
looking for a
dissed you.
vocalist, you didn't ask me.
Oh, okay.
Then when you were a guest vocalist, you didn't ask me. You got Chris Tyson of TRC.
Can
We've
I
done a
say-
fucking killer job. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean,
He's
you know,
maybe a
like-
bit better than me, to be fair.
Yeah, he did all right.
Nah, he killed it, man. I'm gonna say, like, if you don't mind me saying, I thought that's the best sounding album you done with you on vocals. That album's hard, man. I think
Thank you.
all around it's
Thank you.
pretty fucking spot on.
I appreciate that. Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. I mean, the thing is, I'm very, very happy how the album came out. It's just like it's got a lot more dynamic to it than other albums, you know.
That's what I was gonna say. To me, it's a lot more like gone back to your hardcore roots, if you like. More straightforward.
Yeah.
But there's a lot more melodies in there. Some really nice melodies. Am I right? Am I summing it up right?
Yeah. No. Yes. Certainly. We you know, like there's I think there's a couple songs on there that have, you know, like have a bit of a hook in there, you know, like a hook line in there, you know. With most songs, people remember it easily, you know.
Yeah,
That kind of stuff like
yeah.
that. That's maybe what you mean by melody.
That's what I mean. You got a lot more. Your choruses are a lot more. Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Like they're hooky. Like you got really a lot of hooky choruses on there.
Yeah, and
Yeah, not that your older stuff wasn't hooky.
No,
but
it was way less on records, you know. Like on that last track, Dance with the Devil, we had that song Dance with the Devil. That was kind of like, you know, had kind of a hooky thing on it. That was had a hook line, but that was it, you know. Everything else was like kind of. But we also tried in the songwriting. I mean, that song we did with Freddie is more of a D beat to it.
That's
you know?
hard, man. Yeah.
And then like there's other stuff, you know, that's very groovy. And you know, Stefan wrote a couple songs that are the most metal sounding songs on that, you know.
Yeah, I could hear some of the the old Born from Pain. I mean, was it a conscious decision to when you started this album? Was you like, we're just gonna do whatever comes out?
Yeah.
Or
but
did you have a specific idea?
We had
in
a lot
mind?
of problems writing this album, actually.
Oh,
like
come on,
this,
tell me.
We
I'm
had
surprised to hear you say that because it
No, we
doesn't
did.
sound like an album that a band had problems writing.
Yeah,
Really?
no, and yeah,
Maybe the vocals.
yeah, I was very surprised too.
No, I'm joking. Go on.
Nah, the thing is, see the history of that is we wanted to. It's been 4 years since Dance with the Devil, and like we wanted to put this album out 2 years ago. And the thing is, we just didn't find the songs and the stuff that we wanted to do. I think it was everybody was caught up a lot. You know, there's a lot happening in people's personal lives. It's like. There was a couple of lineup changes again, you know, like, and it was just very chaotic, and we didn't find Max. I mean, Max is doing a lot of music, you know, at the weekends with you know, like with.
I didn't realise, man. He plays with his decks.
Diggy Dex.
He said to me,
Diggy Dex is by now a big pop musician in Holland. So
yeah, because when I found out, I'd done a bit of I never heard of him.
Yeah.
Done a bit of search on YouTube and that, and he's like a mainstream
Oh yeah.
artist. And I saw Max on the drums, like in a newsroom studio.
Yeah.
I thought,
no,
that's
yeah, they
fucking
do a
sick.
lot of like late night shows, radio stuff,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. Yeah, no, but he's like, I'm proud of him. He does good with that, you know, like, and
Is he a full-time drummer?
yes, full time.
Okay, yeah. So
And how do we get to this? I don't fucking even know.
no, I don't
Always a tangent.
I think what was he? No, we came to that because it was hard writing the album, and we didn't have jack shit, and there was a deadline and another deadline. I was like, come on, guys, we gotta get this, and another deadline, and then we can't practice now because he's got to do this, and then it's turned into getting together once every 2 months, and you can't write a record like
sounds
that.
like knuckle dust. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I just said to Dom, hey, you know what we need to do? We need to do like go to your hard drive and see all the ideas we had, like that we had since whenever that we recorded, and just let's check out what's on there. And we started checking out stuff from New Future days.
Oh shit.
And Igor was in the band. Igor Backfire.
Did he play drums for you
He
guys?
played drums for 3 years.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. You
Igor's
know, like
been
whenever
everywhere,
we
man.
came to London, you lost interest. You know? Like, so that's all right. But he actually wrote 3 or 4 songs.
Yeah,
which
he plays guitar as well.
Yeah,
doesn't
which
he?
are all on the album now. And
he's fucking.
he's dope, but they didn't
Yeah.
make the cut back then because we wanted to do something that was more different, you know?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Just I listened to them with Dom and I go like, yo, you realize these are fucking great songs, right? And he goes like, yeah, they sound good. Like, what do you think? I'm like, well, you know, like let's ask Igor if he has a problem or something. And he goes like, no, I wrote them for Born from Pain. They were Born from Pain songs. You
Yeah,
know? Like
Igor's
I want you guys, like, he wrote them when he was in the band. It's not like it's someone who wrote a song for you. He wrote them as a member, you know? So it's like, no, use whatever you want to use. And that turned out to be True Love. That turned out to be that's instrumental outro we did that we play one before last song in the set.
Yeah.
That turned out to be what other New Beginnings with Chris is an Igor song. Then
Igor,
City
man.
Nights is an Igor song.
Hitmaker.
Yeah, no, fucking awesome songs, you know. So, and then Stefan had a couple when he came back in the band. He had ideas. He said, "Yeah, I have ideas lying around." You know, we listened to him, and 2 of those ideas made it to the record. And then we were like, "Oh fuck." We got 6 or 7 songs already. This is great. And then that Bombs Away is a song from Dom that didn't make the cut on 4 albums, I think. And Dom was like, if it doesn't make the cut, no, I'm leaving the band, you know? And but no, it was actually really easy. Tommy had a song lying around. He made a song, and that's actually Anti-Town that opens the record. We opened the set with. That was really good. And we were like, oh man, I think we actually got a record here, you know? Like, and we started to write a couple more things, did a couple more songs, started to, you know, like making the songs flow more and everything, you know? And you know, like we made it all like, you know, come together and everything, and we were like, oh man, I think, you know, like we might have something here, you know. We practiced on it, did a couple things, and then when I started writing the lyrics, it just started flowing out. It all felt really natural, organic, and good. You know, I have no problems writing lyrics or anything. It just came out, you know, and I was like,
brilliant.
God damn, this is turning to be. It was so hard at first, and now it's so easy. And then I started for myself. I started putting the songs in an order that I liked that flowed, which ended up on the record. And I was like, wow, I think I got a really good feeling about this, you know.
Nice, fucking brilliant album.
Yeah,
man.
and then. I was, you know, like I was used to like TRC. I don't know what their standing is in London nowadays, but like
What does TLC? Oh, they're standing.
The standing's all right.
because I never,
We've had them on the podcast.
Well, yeah, they're good friends of ours.
yeah,
I mean,
that, yeah.
with TRC, I think they was trying to go
They wanted to do their own,
their own thing.
They ventured out, yeah.
They would happily say, we were trying to blow up. We were trying to like.
No, I know.
And I like, you know what I mean. You got to commend them for being honest with it, because
Yeah.
some people want to be the rock star band, but pretend that we were real hardcore underground.
And honestly, I appreciate that them. And actually, I always liked his vocals. And
Yeah.
when I heard like songs like 10,000 Hours and, you know, like London.
They were great songs.
Or whatever the
Yeah,
fuck it
yeah.
is. I was
They were
like,
great
oh,
songs.
this is done well. But I probably got caught a little bit by the videos, you know, like that all looked really good.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, damn, you know, like, and I had a lot of respect for that, you know. And then we played with him a couple of times in Europe, and you know, drank with him, whatever. It's because I never really knew those guys, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew you guys from the coming, stay in, play in, you know, like doing shit together, staying at houses, you know, but them guys I never really knew. And then we drank with him. Chris was like, yeah, you know, like you know, like, yo, you guys are actually, you know, like an influence, you know, like, and then like, oh man, and then, you know, when I heard New Beginnings and I had that, and I was just listening to TSC at one point, and I was like, oh man, that would sound good. So I hit him up, and he was like all about it. So I was like, okay, that's good, you know. So yeah,
that's really cool.
Yeah, and so that whole thing, that flow, and it was just the whole process of the record ended up being easier in the end than I thought it would be. Took us 3 years, but you know.
Nah, but it's like wine, innit? You let it. Some of the songs just ain't on the album.
It's like wine, and you let it. It's like a fine wine. Like
I'm getting to the punchline. You said a lot of the songs you wrote from years ago. So they were sitting there, So they were sitting there like wine, innit?
Yeah,
I don't think you can write. I think I can't do it. If someone said, "All right, you got to do an album end of this year," I don't think I could write 10 songs, but they wouldn't be the best 10 songs I could write. For me to do a good album, I would have to have 2 years of material, of stuff because otherwise you rush it and you're trying to. Sometimes I write a song and I feel like, nah, this bit's not right. But because I'm rushed for time, I'll keep that bit there.
Yeah.
Whereas if you've got the time, you keep fucking with it until you get it exactly how you want it. And do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh yeah, I understand that.
Black man time in album form. just kidding.
This album, you got 3 videos for it already because like
this is
one video is not enough.
This is
do you know what I mean?
Since 2 days.
No, we
won't go into details. Yeah, go on.
You got Anti-Town, New Beginnings, and True Love.
Yeah.
True Love is the one that was in the football ground, right?
Yeah.
That was.
That's sick. That one with the fucking flares and shit.
Me and you were talking about the football things. You want to just quickly go over that?
Yeah, I don't know this.
Is that? Oh, thank you, because I didn't know it.
I need to know.
He said, "Have you seen our new video?" And I said, "What? The one with Chris?" And he goes, "No, we've got a third one out." I'm like, Jesus. And he showed me on his phone.
I think you would be interested wearing the Arsenal jersey.
I've got an Arsenal jersey on now, even though they fucking
not that
lost
there's
the
any
wins.
flares in your stadium, but whatever, you know.
Nah. Only the trousers type.
No one even speaks.
No, it's respected Dennis Bergkamp, but whatever. You know?
Yeah, legend. So the video, man, like you was explaining to me.
We just, you know, like I'm big on football. Really big. I'm into the whole culture. I'm into everything. You know, like I go to football a lot. I go watch my team away and at home. But the thing is, you know, like that to me, like hardcore football, the whole thing around it, like that's just part of my life too. You know, and like
you're a bit of a fuck, really. You're a bit of a hooligan.
No, I wouldn't say that, but like.
I'm fucking with you. Go on.
Yeah. All right. What was I gonna say? I just wanted to put that, you know, like, I just wanted to put that feeling in a song too. You know, like, I mean, all of you guys are into football, so I mean, you understand what I'm saying. You know, you grow up at a club. Your dad takes you maybe the first time, or you go with your friends or whatever. Like my dad took me the first time when I was 9 or 8. And the thing is, that ever since has been playing an important role in my life too. I know for some people not into sports go like, that's fucking insane. Like, how can you like shit like that? Because it's, you know, like, it's nothing that you build, it's nothing that you think, but it's just a feeling you grow up with. It is what it is, you know.
Yeah,
and like, and if people don't understand, well, it doesn't matter. But like, and I thought, if I can put that feeling into a song in a hopefully non-cheesy way, you know, which I think. It's for everybody else to decide, but I think we managed to not do it in a cheesy way.
I think you fucking, you've done it really, really, really well. Because the thing that's done in punk annoy it a lot.
Yeah, and I know really in hardcore it's kind of like, I have the feeling in hardcore you can't do stuff like that because people are like, you know, like that doesn't belong in there. You know, it's got to be about hardcore. It's got to be about this and that. You know, but like
struggle.
It's got to be walking down the street with a fucking pit bull and
which is good if people, you know, like it's everybody their own. But like, I mean, the thing is, I just feel like. Why? I mean, it's authentic. I'm not lying. This is part of my life, you know. So the thing is, and I know so many people that are very much in the weekend. If they don't go to a show or they don't play, they're at football, go to the pub before, go to the pub after, make it a whole thing, you know.
Never passionate.
Yeah,
exactly what I do.
Well, there you go. And that's you know, like, so people can act like it's not there, but that's also there. And how important this is someone's for everybody to decide themselves, you know. But I'm just saying, you know, that's what we try to get that feeling about across about, you know, like being dedicated to that thing and just feeling that thing the way I do, you know?
Yeah, I
And
mean, it's about passion, right? You're not gonna say something well unless you're passionate about it.
yeah,
Otherwise,
exactly.
you're just talking shit.
Exactly.
No, I feel that, man.
And the thing is, no, you're right. And that is exactly the feeling I tried to get across with that, or we tried to get across with that, and that worked out. And for that song, like, we got a whole bunch of football people together, you know, we had, hey, everybody, do a lot of people want to be in this, you know, and like, especially the ultras at our club, they like took a liking to it. You know, it's great. There were release shows, started lighting flares inside the venue. It was
Oh yeah, I
great.
see that fucking picture.
Yeah.
that was,
It was-
oh man, it looked wild, man.
It was insane.
yeah.
I announced a song and it lit the flares and
Yeah, the picture's insane.
Wait,
like,
yeah.
there was, like,
I've not seen any of this.
there's
you
a
know?
fucking flare in the middle of the show, and it's just everywhere. And I was like looking at this visual picture. And I'm like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? Man?
you guys ever played Cafe Bluff in Heerlen?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's where it is. That's our hometown, and we always play the release shows at Marcel's because he's the one. That's where underground music lives. You know, where
okay.
so and but it was great. We just stopped the show for 15 minutes, and I'm like, fuck, this is the fourth song. The show is over, you know. But then it took one song, and it was as crazy as it was before, but without flares at that point. But it was, so you know, like I'm just saying, you know, like that is. It also contaminated, so to speak, with them, because those were guys that were not so much into the scene or the music, but they came and they really liked it. They were in the pit the whole time, had a great time, you know, and maybe some of those people get into the music, you know, so.
Where can people find the video that haven't seen it? Like
YouTube.
YouTube. So just,
Yeah,
you put-
YouTube. It's on that Hardcore Worldwide channel, you know. You
Beat
can
Down.
easily find it. Type in Born
Yeah.
for Pain, True Love, and
Yeah,
you'll find
as
it.
soon as you type it in, it'll just come up and have all the videos straight away. Like,
Yeah.
plus with all the albums and stuff and YouTube mixes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so go and check that out, man. That's fucking a dope video, man.
Cheers.
So, Rob, man, we're going to wrap up because we know you're a busy man. I want to say thank you for doing this, man. Taking
No
the time
problem.
out to come hang with us, man.
My
You've always
pleasure.
been a real G.
Oh.
Ginger G.
A real G, you mean a real ginger? Yeah.
A gingy.
A gingy.
Now, I've got one more final question that I'd like to ask you, man. What's your opinion on like how hardcore has changed over 20 years? Like, me and you was having a deep conversation about hardcore.
I know
You
what
got to
you-
go into everything, but like...
No, I know what you're getting at.
Yeah, how's it changed?
I mean, it's
Good and bad.
I don't. It's hard to say, you know. I know we were talking about, are we maybe, you know, do we come across like people? How did people see us when we were coming up, you know? And maybe said, this bullshit is way too tough, you know. That heavy riffs, there's metal in hardcore. What the fuck is this all
How
about?
did
This
we get to that question? What was we... Basically,
You just asked it.
Yeah, no.
oh god,
No, what I'm saying is, how did
you got to
we
stay
get...
off the drugs. You know?
What got us that... Not how hardcore's changed, but there was a specific thing we was talking about where I said... I think we were saying that we...
Started getting me to
people-
incriminate people.
Older
What?
people judge younger bands.
Yeah.
Older people-
We were saying, do we maybe look at younger bands? Do we look at we look at younger bands now?
The way that
other older people
Thank you.
looked
I just
at us
wanted to
back
put into
then.
context
You know?
what I'm trying to say.
It
That's
was
all.
a generational thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So continue, sorry, mate.
I mean, I like a lot of new bands too, but I mean, like, I think more than. Don't get me wrong. There's always hardcore's never been completely political, completely this, completely that. People try to make it out like, oh, back then it was way more authentic and it was way more this, and there were always people that didn't take it seriously. There were always people that weren't really seen. There were always people. It was always like people that faked shit. There's always been there, you know. Maybe not in the as huge as it is now, because hardcore's grown pretty big. When I got into hardcore, maybe there were like 40 or 50 European bands that you could actually, maybe in practice space that were actually playing out.
Yeah,
you know?
for real.
And now, I mean, there's 40 bands in London alone. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just saying something, but like, you know what I mean? Like in a bigger city.
It's oversaturated.
But I mean, what's oversaturated? People do what they want to do. But the thing is, like, I feel like it's very, very extremely short-lived. It bums me out when there's a good band, like, you know, like a good band that people maybe are not into anymore in like 6 months because there's a new flavor coming now. Why can't you like the band you like? I mean, if you really truly moved on, okay, whatever. But like, there's also ulterior reasons for that. People are like, oh, this is not cool anymore. They don't want to be seen with the shirt anymore because, like, oh, you're still into that band, you know, like, come on, you know, like, I mean, that bums me out, you know, like, I mean, especially, you know, people that have been doing a shitload for the scene and putting a lot of energy and life into, you know, time of their life into it, you know, dedicating time, and then like not getting appreciated because you don't play the latest flavor or the latest trend or whatever. That's just weird to me, like, and I don't like that. But
and all the same, if you do start changing, people are like, why are you playing this new stuff? Like, why are you sounding like, what are you doing that for?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, in all honesty, go back to that. I mean, but what do you expect me to do? You expect me to put out 8 albums that sound like Reclaiming the Crown? I guarantee you would hate that. Yeah, everybody would hate that. Believe me, Yeah. But you can never do it, Like, but right now, I mean, I like it how bands are coming up and this and that, But like, that's great. I mean, scene is alive and well. But like, we could do with a lot more true support for each other. Even though
I think European bands could get a bit more support. Like, I feel
yeah.
And this is no hate to like people over in the States, or because they have. I think they have the best bands really.
Oh yeah.
As sad as it is, but they could have a band that will start a year ago and there would be headline over bands
that have been around for 10 years.
Yeah.
In Europe. And I feel like it's because people in Europe don't seem to like support their own as much.
Same thing in the UK as well.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Yeah.
That is too bad. I mean, that's what I mean, You should be looking, don't only look at what you like, Like, I mean, it sounds weird, but if you're trying to be a scene, if you're trying to be what we're trying to be with hardcore, you also got to support bands that you don't like musically, or maybe you don't even like a couple of people in a band. Like you got to just got to look at it as a whole. If you don't look at it as a whole and you're not prepared to support, whenever, let's say whatever, if Madball comes to town, there's 400 people, but you got to also want to have 400 people there when Iron House plays, and people can say, yeah, but what?
Yeah, I won't compare to them. Yeah.
No, but the thing is, like it's your scene. Like
yeah.
Like why would you not like, if you like going to shows, are you in it? Just to support the best bands, or you? I understand if you got limited time and you got kids and whatever. I understand, but like there's a lot of youthful people. Like I was always interested in knowing what came before what I was doing.
Yeah.
And I mean, the thing is, like I still want to know like what new bands are doing, or young bands are doing, and I still want to get into it.
Oh, yeah,
Slope being the perfect example, I think.
Yeah,
that, right?
Yeah,
I love that. Man.
Yeah, exactly.
That band
exactly.
is fucking sick.
We want to get them in here on this, man.
Yeah.
And that is the thing, like, but those are really nice kids and everything and whatever, But like, I mean, there's no buts, but I mean, there's a scene there that thinks that when you're into the newer bands, you can be supporting, like older bands, or it's people that the bands have been around, like, and it's
like
just
a one or the other thing. All inclusive.
It's like
there's also like the older people who just don't want to support.
Yeah.
That's also a
Works
thing.
the other way.
That's also a thing,
I always get posts from like people that have been in the scene from a long time saying, "Oh, you shit now. Back in the day, and I feel like
but that's
you're doing
bullshit.
the same thing that
it's bullshit.
You have to be open as well.
Back in the day, it wasn't always great either.
No, it wasn't exactly. Yeah.
Remember a Cardiff show of 15 people? Like That's I'm just saying. It's always like that. Like it wasn't better back in the day. It was just different.
Yeah. Well.
And but just a little bit more. Like try to just like it just sounds cheesy, but if you support each other a little bit more, like everybody's part of this stuff. Do
you want a hug?
Yeah, please. please do.
No, Rob, man. I want to say thank you once again, man. Have you got any final thoughts? Like anything you want to leave? Any words of wisdom?
No, I just want to thank you guys for being on here. It's just it's been a pleasure.
Man, thank you for having us, man. We know that
really
like
appreciate the opportunity.
I like what you guys are doing a lot, so that's great. I've been listening to all the podcasts. Sometimes had a good laugh, so. Well, that is when I can't understand what you're saying, Wema, but like.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. It's okay.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, it's good. Like keep it going. It's great. And
you watch him on stage later saying "Reclaiming the Clown."
Yeah.
But leave it there, man. Rob from Born from Pay. Thank you very much, man.
Later.
You're listening to the Everyone But Us podcast, straight from the heart of London.